Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ's live recap of Monday Night Raw for Memorial Day, May the 27th, 2019. Brace yourselves. This might be a NoDQ live stream for the ages. All right, here we go. Spread the word. This one's going to be interesting. So we had a Memorial Day video package, which was very nice, very classy, of course, which WWE does for every Memorial Day. They also do it for Veterans Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, etc. I did want to note that right off the bat here, WWE already changed what they advertised. So earlier in the day, WWE advertised a fatal four-way match. AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. Fatal four-way match, fine, whatever. Winner faces Seth Rollins at the Super Showdown pay-per-view. Right off the bat on Monday Night Raw, after it was already advertised 2 hours earlier, WWE announced that AJ Styles will not be in the match because of injury and will instead be replaced by Baron Corbin. Wow. Really? You go with Baron Corbin over AJ Styles. Why even announce AJ Styles in the first place? This is what we call false advertising. You hook somebody on a segment and then you change it on them after they already tune in. Not a smart business decision as far as I'm concerned. So there's that. Bait and switch, as Chris Mace puts it. Hank Schrader on the shitter. I'm starting to feel in a better mood now because this is the greatest handle I've ever seen on YouTube. Hank Schrader on the shitter with a $2 super chat says, I should have skipped Raw and counted my minerals. Jesus, Hank Schrader on the shitter, you should have done that. You definitely should have. Stephen Osborne left a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Stephen. He says, haven't watched Double or Nothing yet. Would you give me a heads up if you're about to say something I'd consider a spoiler so I can mute you? Thank you. Awesome stuff happened at Double or Nothing. That's all I'll say, Stefan. You should check it out ASAP and maybe get out of the chat room. This might not be the best place to avoid spoilers. Quite frankly, I'm surprised you've missed spoilers up to this point. Ryan Brutally with a $2 super chat says, does WWE even know what they're doing anymore? That is a fantastic question, Ryan. $1 million question of the evening. $1 million question of the year, quite frankly. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. He says, Virtue is secretly a Kofi Kingston fanboy. Ouch. So far, that's the savage line of the night. But the night is young, as I like to say. All right, so we had Brock Lesnar backstage with Paul Heyman to kick off the show. And then we had Kofi Kingston coming out, WWE champion, flinging the pancakes as usual. He talked about Kevin Owens re-injuring Big E on SmackDown, but noted that Dolph Ziggler attacked him, however, was not able to finish the job because he's still there, he's still standing tall, and he said he'll get to Dolph when the time is right. Then he talked about Brock Lesnar, and he insisted that Brock Lesnar come out, cash in Money in the Bank on him right there on Monday Night Raw. Power Packers 90 with a $2 super chat says, wow, this Raw just proved why we need AEW. Well, you'll be hearing those initials a lot during this video, that's for sure. So we had Kofi Kingston basically call out Brock Lesnar, wanting to see Brock cash in on him right there on Raw. Seth Rollins came out and said he also wanted to hear Brock Lesnar's decision because Brock said he would cash in on one of the champions. Brock Lesnar came out. He was totally playing up the whole beatbox routine from last week. Only this time, he was wearing a shirt that said Brock Party, a play on the term Block Party. And he also had his Money in the Bank briefcase with a beatbox design on it. He started rocking out to some generic music, They should have had him like rock out to like Cody Rhodes' music or something. Hell, if they're gonna mention AEW on this show, they might as well just like do it all the way. Go big or go home. Have Brock Lesnar come out to Smoke and Mirrors or something and start jamming to that. We had Paul Heyman starting to rock out to the music, and Brock Lesnar said, "No, that's uncool. Stop that," which was quite hilarious, actually. Seth Rollins was just disgusted by this whole thing. Maybe he saw the Raw script in advance, and he took off. Paul Heyman said to not boo Brock Lesnar, so of course the people booed Brock Lesnar. Heyman said they are not making a decision right now, and they can blame Seth Rollins for that. Dolph Ziggler all of a sudden jumped Kofi Kingston from behind as Ziggler was leaving. Ziggler hit the zigzag on the ramp, and Xavier Woods made the save. We went to a commercial break, and when we came back, Kofi Kingston was being helped out. So apparently, one zigzag on the ramp was more devastating than everything that Dolph Ziggler did to Kofi on SmackDown. Okay. So we had Kofi being helped out, and then Ziggler attacked Kofi again, so apparently Xavier Woods just disappeared. Ziggler started attacking Kofi, and then Xavier showed up again to make the save for a second time. They started brawling all over the place. Ziggler grabbed the chair, hit Xavier in the back. Kofi Kingston made the save with a chair. And then we had Dolph Ziggler cut this promo. A $20 SCK super chat, I'm not sure where that's from Callie Huerta says, I haven't seen one Kofi Mania for weeks, just saying. And then Edgar with the $2 super chat says, wait, WWE mentioned AEW? When? Find out very soon, Edgar, I'll tell you. And if you don't want to wait, head over to NoDQ.com because there is a clip of it if you missed it. If any of you missed it and you want to see what actually happened with AEW on Raw, go check it out over at NoDQ.com right now. And you can keep this browser open and keep this video going if you wish, which I would appreciate. So yeah, as far as what Callie Huerta said, yeah, the Kofi Mania stuff has really died out. Tony H with a $2 super chat says, Raw provided me and my daughter a 90-minute lap. I was going to say lap. That's how tired I am. A 90-minute nap. As did my cats. My cats were just exhausted during this Raw. They were sleeping pretty much the entire time. They were not big fans, suffice to say. So we had Dolph Ziggler cut this promo, which was actually really good. Ziggler's been cutting great promos. He said that he knew Kofi well, but was surprised that Kofi would waste his time on Brock Lesnar. He says he admires Kofi, and he defended Kofi all the times people put Kofi down. He knows how good Kofi is, but then he says, what happens when you don't have that title anymore? What happens when Dolph Ziggler takes that title, and what happens to the millions of Kofi's fans? He said, it should have been him at WrestleMania, and at Super Showdown, it will be him. So there you go. Dolph Ziggler determined to win the title, and he was all sweating. His eyes were about to pop out of his head. He was so intense. Great promo here from Dolph Ziggler. I'll give him credit. Ryan Brutally just sent a $2 super chat. Says, Vince is going to sell WWE and go full XFL. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see Vince ever retiring. I know people are saying Vince is going to step down maybe, but I don't see it happening. Colin Mack with a $2 super chat says, haven't been here in a while, but take this. Well, thank you very much for that, Colin Mack. I appreciate it. TK with the $2 super chat says, terrible episodes of Raw equal more AEW fans. Pretty much. And then Hank Schrader on the shitter, my favorite guy ever, with a $2 super chat says, Raw was a bigger bomb than Tuco's third floor headquarters. Damn, that is a pretty big bomb. And Caitlin, just ignore what you heard there about that comment. And then Ken terminated by Google, who the heck is Tuco Noah? No Breaking Bad spoilers in the chat room. I'm going to get raged if somebody starts doing Breaking Bad spoilers. Seriously, don't do it. I'm telling any of the mods, any Breaking Bad spoilers, and people are going to get booted. Power Packers 90 with a $5 super chat. If I was in KC, I would have demanded my money back after that first hour and 15 minutes of pointless filler. Hashtag save us AEW. Thank you for that super chat, Power Packers. Mike Nixon, can you read my last comment? I don't know where it is, and it's going by so fast, so I apologize for that, Mike. All right, so where are we now? I talked about the Dolph Ziggler promo. Okay, we're moving on now. So we had Usos hosting Memorial Day, a Memorial Day block party with all the C talent, I guess you could say. They wished Natalya a happy birthday, and then the Usos talked about how everybody was invited except for the Revival. FTR, of course. They didn't say that, but they might as well should have said it. Next up, we had Shane McMahon versus a mystery opponent. Shane came down to the ring with his lackey, Drew McIntyre, but then rewinded himself to go back during the entrance, I guess because it wasn't time yet to come out there. I don't know what the deal was with this. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, TJS eats EC3 pancakes. Good one, Psycho Jet Black. I agree with that completely. Next up, we had Shane McMahon after the commercial in the ring. So he came out, went to the back, had a commercial, then he was back in the ring. And then, instead of the Shane segment, we had the Randy Orton Triple H promo, the long promo, shown yet again. Why? Why did we need to see this again? We saw it on SmackDown, and it wasn't any more exciting the second time around, and it was too long. Doesn't make me want to see this match at all. Next up, we had Shane cutting a promo, and he talked about the Samoan dynasty. He brought up all the great Samoans and how Vince McMahon cleaned up all the mistakes that the Samoans made. And Shane specifically mentioned the Wild Samoans, and of course, I believe it's Sika. That's how tired I am right now, is the father of Roman Reigns. So that was a reference to that, how Roman Reigns' dad had to be put in his place by Vince McMahon. Crowd did not give a damn about this promo. In fact, they started chanting AEW. We actually got an AEW chant during this segment, and then they started chanting, "This is boring." This led to another commercial, and then 53 minutes into Monday Night Raw, we finally had a match. Shane McMahon versus the cousin of Roman Reigns. His name was Lance. I wonder if that's his real name, or if that's a ribbed Lance Storm. I don't even know. Anytime I see somebody's name that was a past superstar's name, I always think it's some kind of reference or some kind of rib. Maybe it is his real cousin's name. I don't even know. I wasn't even sure Roman Reigns had a cousin named Lance, but I guess he does. So anyways, we had Shane McMahon win this match with a submission, and the crowd was chanting, "This is awful," by the way. Mike Garcia with a $2 super chat says, "Quit WWE years ago, went to AEW in Las Vegas, and it brought me back." Well, I've heard that from quite a few people over the last few days, Mike Garcia, so you're definitely not the only one. After Roman Reigns, or should I say after Shane McMahon won with submission over Lance, Shane cut another promo and said that the biggest mistake Sika ever made was spawning Roman Reigns. So beating up his cousin wasn't a big enough problem. When you talk about Roman Reigns and Sika, that crosses the line as far as Roman Reigns is concerned. So he finally came out after that. He gave the lackey Drew McIntyre a Superman punch and then caught Shane with one of his own. So basically Roman Reigns hit a Superman punch on Drew and then caught Shane, hit one on Shane. And then Roman Reigns threw Shane into the ring, but then Drew pulled him out and they fled the scene and they ran out of the building. Hamp Khanna with the $2 super chat says, "Did half the arena leave? It got very quiet." That I don't know. You would have to ask somebody who was there. Maybe I can get a live report from somebody. And Hank Schrader on the shitter with another $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Roman's cousin wants 25 minutes, or Roman's cousin waits 25 minutes for help. Pretty much. And then Alex Pershing with a $2 super chat says, if Shane beats Roman clean, shave your eyebrows. I am not doing any more bets. I'm done with that. Ever since that Zack Ryder thing, I stopped doing that. But maybe Big G can do that. Big G has been talking about how he might do some big stipulation at some point. I'm not doing that. So anyways, we had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come back out for another segment. They had a referee. Heyman was about to announce who was going to be facing Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And that's when we had Seth Rollins come out again. And Rollins said that Lesnar is a joke. And then Lesnar basically laughed him off and said, "Beast box, bitch." And then Rollins kept yelling at Lesnar to cash it in. This felt like the opening segment of Raw. I mean, it pretty much felt like the same exact thing, like we were watching a replay of the beginning of the show. Heyman started reading the contract, and then Lesnar was listening, and then he was like, wait a minute, I have a year to cash this in? And then he started slapping Paul Heyman with the contract, which was maybe the funniest thing on this entire show. Brock Lesnar just yelling at Paul Heyman and slapping him around, like that stuff is always great. So we had Lesnar get on the mic and say, I got a whole year. Seth Rollins, screw you. Brock then left, and then Rollins was standing there. All of a sudden, R-Truth and Carmella ran out, being chased by all the 205 Live or the catering guys, whatever you want to call them. For some reason, Seth Rollins did not take the opportunity to beat R-Truth and win the title. He was right there in the ring. Why not do it? 24/7 title, it's so prestigious, it's game-changing, right? Brock Lesnar is going to be taking his time, so why not become Seth two belts? I don't get it. Why not become a double champion if this title is so important? Oh, that's right. The title's not important. Nobody cares about it. It's the catering championship. It is what it is. So we had R-Truth manage to escape all the catering guys that were chasing after him. Next up, we had AJ Styles being interviewed. He said he really wanted to be part of the match, but he's injured and there are tests that still need to be done. And then all of a sudden, AJ was punched or attacked by Baron Corbin, and that was this segment. Next up, we had Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross against the Iconics. I am really tired, guys, and I apologize. Raw just completely wore me out tonight. The Iconics. Iconic! For those of you that are forgetting, they are, in fact, the women's tag team champions. Anyways, guess who won this match? It wasn't the Iconics, the tag team champions, and I'm not even sure they've won a match since becoming the champions. See, I keep forgetting because it's been like 2 months now, but I seem to forget the last time the Iconics actually won a match since they became the tag team champions. So yeah, Becky Lynch pinned Peyton Royce with the Manhandle Slam. So I guess Becky has a new finisher now, the Manhandle Slam. Okay, whatever. Still, what purpose does this serve? Like, will Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross be getting tag team title shots now? I mean, I don't understand this, you know. So much for the tag team championships for the women. I mean, it's become a real dud here. It's been a complete joke. Not much else to say about it. Like, why book this match if you're gonna just keep jobbing out your champions? Next up, we had another segment backstage with the Usos Memorial Day party. Tamina teased having an issue with Naomi, but then laughed it off, and they were hugging and being all friendly. So I guess Tamina's a babyface now, and I'm pretty sure nobody cares. We had the Revival show up, even though they were allegedly banned from this. Naomi revealed that she actually invited the Revival and wanted everybody to make peace with each other. So, okay. Next up, we had Ricochet versus Cesaro. This was a pretty good match. This was a rematch from last week, so you pretty much know how this is going. 50-50 booking. Cesaro won last week to kickstart his singles run, but you got to protect Cesaro, so you do the 50-50 booking. 50-50 in the house, says Alex Pershing. Probably the best part of this match was Cesaro hitting the uppercut on Ricochet, and Ricochet taking a great bump into the corner. Ricochet kicked out of it, of course. And then Ricochet did a handstand from the outside of the ring back in and turned it into a Hurricane Rana pinfall. So yes, 50-50 booking was in fact in play here. Ricochet gets his win back, and now people are saying, well, the wrestling was good. And I'm like, why do you even book this in the first place? This is why nobody gets over, because you have guys trading wins every week. So you don't elevate anybody. Like, everybody's on the same level. They're down here. Instead of maybe building a star and having somebody up here, everybody's down here. That's what happens when you do 50-50 booking. But of course, people on Twitter going to defend WWE, no matter what they do, they have WWE like literally in their blood, and they cannot turn their back on WWE no matter what. So they're loyal to the death pretty much, and they're like, well, it was still a good match, and all you do is complain. No, my job is to tell it like it is and review the shows, and I'm just getting rage talking about it. Gabe sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Gabe. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. That's the one thing that brings my rage mode down just a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, I'm still like, I don't know how much more of it I can take. I really don't. I'm like on the verge of completely losing it here. We had the commentators talking about the Rey Mysterio Samoa Joe situation. So what WWE advertised, and if you guys remember last week, I was talking about, WWE, at least they're trying something with the cliffhangers. They talked about how this week Rey Mysterio would announce something regarding the status of the U.S. title. But guess what? Didn't happen on this show. Samoa Joe came out and said next week Samoa Joe is going to relinquish the United States Championship, and he'll be waiting to take back what is his. That is happening next week. So you guys advertise it for this week, and then you don't deliver. Another bait and switch. Are you kidding me? This show is the modern reincarnation of WCW 2000. They have gone full WCW, and never go full WCW. TNA did not learn that. WWE has basically, they've lived long enough to see themselves become WCW in the flesh. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose it. I'm really gonna lose it here. Gotta take a break here for a second. Next up, we had the Revival playing cornhole with the Usos during the Memorial Day party. Sports entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Curtis Butler with a $2 super chat says, don't react, just analyze. I am analyzing. I'm analyzing that this is a bunch of monkey crap. A bunch of steaming dog turd. All right, moving on here. Next up, we had The Miz cutting a promo about how things have changed. Everything's good with his dad now. He's got a new daughter on the way. Good old Miz. Happy Miz. Everything going well for that man. I'm so happy for him. Power Packers 90 with a $2 super chat says, if they went WCW, they would have mentioned AEW, ... Wait. Yeah, let's wait for that. Oh, I'm going to get to that here in a minute. Just don't you worry. We had Braun Strowman cut a promo congratulating Miz on becoming a new father once again. And then as Strowman was cutting his promo, all of a sudden his music hit right in the middle of a promo. This is WCW. It has to be. What is going on here? Braun Strowman cutting a promo, and all of a sudden his music starts playing. This is not WWE that I grew up with. Their production values were great. They never made amateur mistakes like this. You start playing the guy's music while he's cutting a promo. This is like right out of that Russo era WCW, where they were just making production mistakes left and right. I mean, what is going on here? Are these guys doing this on purpose? Are they trying to sabotage their own show? Canaanite is like, Vince is trying to kill his own product, I'm convinced. Are they that stupid, or are they that old, or what is going on here? I don't understand this. I'm so losing it here. Danny310 says, Aaron, you got to tear this show a new one. I'm going to tear myself a new one. It's like, it's so close. It's so close. So anyway, moving on here, we had a fatal 4-way elimination match. This was an elimination match. So one guy loses, he goes to the locker room. The winner gets a title opportunity, title shot, whatever you want to call it, against Seth Rollins at the Super Showdown pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. Hamp Khanna with a $2 super chat says, $2 more for no contract signing. That's a plus. Yeah, I'm blown. My mind is blown how there was no contract signing on this show. Andy Wasson with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Andy. He says, I didn't even watch Raw. I cleaned out my garage listening to Ryback and Evolution's theme on repeat. Wow. Raw has to be really, 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 really bad for Andy to start listening to Ryback. I mean, that just goes to show, like, Raw is a complete lost cause when you start listening to Ryback, of all people. The Gameson 10 or 100 with a $5 super chat says, when Corbin replaces Styles, I knew Corbin was winning the Fatal 4-Way due to Strowman and Lashley cancel each other out and no face versus face at Super Showdown. Well, you nailed it right on the head, son. And thank you for that super chat. Sheer Izzo with a $2 super chat says, Vince is injecting his product with poison. I had to say it like Vince, just for that super chat. Thank you for that. So, we had this Fatal 4-Way elimination match. And yeah, the winner gets the Universal title match at Super Showdown. Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin were out there. Miz, Braun Strowman. Strowman did a big Tower of Doom spot with everybody. And then Corbin and Lashley were working together for a while to take out Strowman, but then Strowman made his big comeback. Strowman started fighting with Lashley, and just so you guys know, Strowman and Lashley was already announced for Super Showdown. So yeah, like the super chat indicated, this pretty much gave away what was going to happen here. But not what we were expecting. I mean, we thought maybe, each guy would get eliminated and then somebody would win. But no, Strowman and Lashley just fought through the crowd to the backstage area, and we never saw them again on this show. So they were more concerned with each other than the Universal Championship. All right, I'm not sure what prompted this kind of rivalry between the two of them to the point where it was more important than the title match. And I thought these matches were no DQ anyways. So you just leave the ring, and once you're in the backstage area, you're disqualified or counted out. Like, this was never explained. I think Michael Cole just said they gave up their opportunity by walking out of the building. Okay. This made no sense whatsoever. Future Shocker 16 with a $2 super chat says, not even joking, WWE is laughable, worse than Indies. And then Alex Pershing with a $2 super chat says, one fall for an elimination match? Who produced that? I don't know, Alex. I really don't know. I mean, WWE's running out of producers at this point. All the good ones are going to AEW at this point. And yes, as Noah Foster says, this is a super chat party for sure, which is pretty much the only thing that's saving me from just completely exploding. So yeah, we had Lashley and Strowman leave. Corbin pinned The Miz, of course. So now it's Super Showdown. It's Seth Rollins versus everybody's favorite wrestler, Baron Corbin. Already with a $5 super chat says, Aaron ranting about WWE is far more entertaining than WWE itself. Well, thank you for that already. I really do appreciate the super chat. Thank you for that. And Chris May says, this is too sexual for me. Actually, that was Virtue that said that. Again, I'm very tired now. Michael Blake with a $2 super chat says, WWE doesn't care anymore. They're trolling us. I mean, yeah, maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're just purposely doing this to annoy the fans. But then again, this is the same thing WCW did. They would like purposely make these references and do segments like just to fuck with the fans. And there you go. You got an F-bomb out of me. That's how crazy I'm getting right now. Virtue's just angry that his weekend is over. I'm just angry because I went from being on cloud 9 this past Saturday and now like it's this terrible storm and it feels like there's no end in sight here. Kayfabe Candy Ass says they could screw with the fans. I had the Bruins game on half the time anyways. Andy Wasson with a $2 super chat says, it's awesome you said my last name correctly. Well, I'm glad I did because I botched the names like 95% of the time. Michael with a $2 super chat, and I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, says, please explode like the Mega Powers. No, I'm not going to explode. Stop suggesting that, please, because it might just happen here if you keep pushing me. David Garcia with a $2 super chat says, Raw is so bad, I'd rather watch Impact or Ring of Honor. Ouch. Well, especially Impact. But to be fair, Impact's been decent from what I've heard lately. It's one of those scenarios where if a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, does it really make a sound? Future Shocker 16 with a $2 super chat. Cloud 9, so you admit AEW is better than WWE. I would say that first AEW show was the best pay-per-view of the year so far. Even better than the NXT show as far as like historical impact. You guys know, if you follow my stuff, I take historical impact into consideration when I'm reviewing these shows. And I think AEW, they did what they needed to do. But go back and watch the AEW video for my thoughts on that. Mike B with a $5 super chat says, Animal and Hawk in your background are awesome. They are awesome, Mike B, but unfortunately I think Hawk's going to be rolling in his grave, you know, when he finds out about how this Raw was. Apparently somebody else from the Beyond already told him about how this show goes. Don't ask me to comment on this spirit that I just referenced. Don't mention it. Do not mention it. TK with the $2 super chat says, what the hell is a 3-year-old picking Renee's outfits? Awful. That I don't know. Maybe John Moxley is doing it. Maybe Renee's on board with the let's troll the fans by just making things as bad as possible. I don't know. And I do want to give a shout out to everybody watching. We have over 500 people watching live right now, which is better than usual for Raw. So thank you guys for that. Hopefully I just don't completely blow a gasket by the end of this video because I'm feeling it. I feel like I'm literally going to just spontaneously combust here in a few minutes. And you guys might watch it on video here. It might not be pretty. I'm trying to keep my composure here. So anyways, back to the Usos Memorial Day party. We had R-Truth show up, which of course, the predictable end to this. Everybody started fighting. They tried to pin R-Truth. R-Truth managed to escape. And then all the catering guys chased after him, and that was that. Oh, I did want to mention, I wanted to mention EC3 from earlier on. That was so funny. EC3 was drinking this alcoholic beverage, I presume, and he just had this face like, F my life, like FML. Like he just looked like he was so done with everything. That was such a great moment. Just seeing EC3 sitting there in complete disgust. He doesn't even have to act. He's just sitting there disgusted by the whole thing. That was great. That was a great segment. Then we had the Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt had a paper plate with his mask covering his face. And then he said he could be anything he wants to be. The Page doll said that he's a sicko. And then we had Bray Wyatt respond by saying, what are you, a doctor now? And then all of a sudden, Bray went off camera, came back on camera as a doctor, and then he started playing Limbo with a couple of kids. So, interesting segment, but I think it's getting close to time to wrap this up and maybe take it to the next level and do something different. Speaking of something different, next up we had the Corey Graves electric chair segment with Sami Zayn. This was like the Sasha Banks Bailey Q&A from a couple months back where the fans were asked questions, or were able to ask Sami Zayn questions, I should say. And you could tell they were plants, and a couple of them were struggling to even remember what the question was. One fan asked Sami, when is his retirement date? Sami then asked, are your mother and father related? Then we had a little girl ask, do you miss the ginger snaps from Mixed Match Challenge? And then Sami Zayn was like, are you really asking about me, or are you asking about Seth Rollins? Which, of course, was a reference to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch being a couple. Jack Gibbons with a $3 super chat says, what's the point of watching this crap anymore? ... GOAT. That I have no idea, Jack. I don't know what to tell you on that one. I really don't. It's because we're all hoping it gets better, right? Then we had another fan ask, how does it feel when Braun Strowman destroys you? And then Sami said he wanted to go out there and punch that fan in the face. And then we had another fan ask why he has never won the Universal Champion yet. And I said that as he said it. Universal Champion. Why hasn't he ever won the Universal Champion? And then Sami Zayn was like, really, that's the best question you got? You could have asked me anything. And this is a direct quote from Sami Zayn. He said, you could have asked me about AEW. That's right. Sami Zayn referenced AEW. I was waiting for one of these fans to blurt out AEW, but I never thought it would be Sami Zayn himself. So for those of you that are keeping track, all those years, TNA so desperately wanted WWE's attention, and WWE basically acted like TNA did not exist for years. It took TNA 13 years before they finally got a reference on WWE television, long after they were any kind of remote threat to WWE. It took AEW one show to get a reference on WWE television. So in one night, AEW has been legitimized as the real deal. WWE, by mentioning AEW, WWE has just given AEW all the credibility in the world. I mean, you cannot ask for a better plug. WWE mentioned AEW, and Power Packers 90 with a $2 super chat says, worst part is that Vince saying he doesn't care. Now, see, my feeling is that Vince McMahon probably thought this was edgy, and that's why they scripted it. So, Vince's mind is like, well, if we mention AEW, we're edgy and we're cool now. I don't think so. I think this was just Vince being out of touch again, and if it was me, I would not reference AEW. So I think by doing it, you are in fact legitimizing them. So I don't know what they were thinking with this one, but I mean, hats off to everybody in AEW, because you guys, you're all legitimate now. WWE just legitimized AEW, and all it took was one show. So mission accomplished. Cody Rhodes wanted to change the world. He's doing it, guys. Mike B with a $2 super chat says, Vince fears AEW. I just think he was trying to think of something cool and say, if we mention AEW, we're being edgy. But yeah, I think it was a bad idea. Bad idea. Rare Kill YouTube says just subscribed. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Hopefully I don't lose it here and then lose all my subscriptions. I'm so close to losing it. Anyways, Seth Rollins came out. He destroyed the electric chair. He threw it to the outside. And then we have the main event, Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn. Seth was selling his knee, but then made his comeback. He pinned Sami Zayn clean with a stomp, and the show just ended with Seth Rollins celebrating and the advertisement for the epic match at Super Showdown. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, the match of the lifetime, coming up at Super Showdown, live on the WWE Network for just $9.99. Edgar with a $5 super chat says, Vince doesn't care for the fans now. Thanks, so the Saudis' money he's rolling in. Yeah, I mean, Vince is making so much money from Saudi Arabia, and they're like, we're going to do whatever the hell we want. And if people Want to chant AEW? Fine. We're going to reference AEW and we're going to do all this stupid crap on TV. Offman Rules with a $5 super chat says, Sasha Banks laughing at the current state of the women's tag team titles? Question mark. Did she? Did she post anything on Twitter? I got to go check her Twitter. And thank you for that super chat. Tony H with the $2 super chat says, Brock stayed, Seth hurt, no cash in, shaking my head. Yeah, Brock Lesnar. So, yeah, Brock Lesnar was shown backstage like after his 2 segments and then never came back out again. So, again, like you're making fans think something's going to happen and then you don't deliver on it. Really brilliant stuff here. I mean, this is groundbreaking television. All right, guys. Well, Mike B with a $4 super chat before I get to the letter grade here says, does Renee Young eventually join her husband in AEW? Would not shock me at all. Like, I don't know how long she's under contract, but we saw Brandy Rhodes leave not too long after Cody did, so I would not be surprised if she ends up leaving. Michael, at least as soon as she can. Michael with the $2 super chat says, sports entertainment enthusiast, I hate it all. Yeah, WWE even posted something on one of their articles about sports entertainment enthusiasts. Sports entertainment enthusiasts? What the hell is that? Yikes. All right, letter grade. Let's hear it from everybody. Letter grade. I got to hear your guys' letter grades. Gary with a D-. Let's hear him. Andy Wasson with a $2 super chat. Off topic, are you into fishing at all? No, I never fish. I don't even like the taste of fish, so not something I would like to do. Lewis with an F-. Noah with a D-. Dylan with a D-. Aaron Anderson with an F. Aaron Anderson, that almost sounds like a name that's really familiar. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Doesn't that sound like a name you guys have heard of before? Rudy with an F. Daniel Gonzalez with an F. Dave with an F. Canaanite F unwatchable. Unwatchable. Super something with an F-. Egger with an F-. Alex with an F+. Canaanite, I said him already. Egger with an F-. Egger just keeps repeating it. He just keeps saying F. F, 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 F. F. Fine, I give Raw an F, okay? I give it an F. Hell, I give it an F. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta step out for a minute. I can't. So you guys thought I was dead, huh? You all thought I was dead. NoDQ.com. Great site, huh? You know what? This is what I think about NoDQ.com. Yeah, fuck that. NoDQ.com, huh? Yeah. What's this? What we got here? I'm Sting, everybody! Look at me, I'm Sting! Bunch of crap. Oh, look at this cute little picture. Look at this. Isn't that so cute? Bunch of crap. What we got here? Diamond Dallas Page, huh? Yeah, you suck too. What the hell is this? Who keeps a teddy bear in their bedroom? What a little pansy. Now this guy's a role model, everybody. You know what? To hell with you. To hell with you. To hell with the whole damn thing. To hell with NoDQ.com. Hell with this poster. This is the only time this site was any good. Still looks exactly the same as it did 20 years ago, too, because Aaron Miff doesn't even know how to make a website, idiot. Change your damn site. You know what?